So today's topic is goal setting for a promotion. And one thing I wanted to also say is the Women's Professional Development Network. That's our employee resource group here at Applied Materials, a very active group. I might say very well, very high membership, and we are thrilled to have each and every one of you here and having seen you involved with Dress for Success. So as Amanda said, my name is Dana Quintana. And just to give you a little bit of background, I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have an electrical engineering degree from New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology, which is a really small school, but small but mighty. And I was the first in my family to graduate with a college degree. I started in applied materials in 1993, and I've had various positions in engineering, from manufacturing to quality engineering, new product transition to design engineering, and now, as she mentioned, MDP, continuous improvement expert. So ladies, we have a great panel of intelligent and experienced women, all from applied materials with different titles and experiences. And between the three of them plus myself, there's over 100 years of applied materials experience that we have combined, which sounds just amazing. First off is Maricela Rios. She's, wave Maricela, from Austin DDP. She's an assembly integration and test manager and manages, I believe, at least over 50 individuals in her organization. We also have the lovely Nicole Wayman, tech program manager. Wave, Nicole, for central operations. And the intelligent and also lovely Pamela Carter from MDP, same business unit as myself, ops engineering. She manages several different types of engineers, from customer request engineer to form, fit, and function to new product transition program managers or project managers. Again, back to the topic of promotion. For me, and probably for many, this causes some stress and anxiety in many people, especially women. And one thing that was interesting, and we've heard this in different conferences that we've attended, is that statistics say for a job posting, a man will look at the criteria and apply for that promotion when they only fulfill 60% of their criteria, whereas women will apply when they fulfill 90 to 100% of the criteria. And this came out of a Hewlett Packard internal report, and I found it in a Stanford report directly, and it as well. And it said it means that it's invoked evidence that women need more confidence. And as one individual put it, men are confident about their ability at 60%, but women don't feel confident until they've checked off every item on that list. So we just need to have more faith in ourselves. So with that, I'm going to start off the webinar with the first set of questions. And these were actually provided by experienced by the ladies within Applied Materials that can help us and help you, right, get a better experience, etc., from what they have to provide. So the first question, and this is directed to Nicole and Maricela: how do you get a clear understanding on whether there are opportunities for growth within your current organization?
Thank you, Dana. So just a quick shout out. Thank you, Dress for Success and WPDN for this opportunity. It's a great experience for the participants as well as us kind of meeting and talking about this stuff. It was of great value to me personally to kind of help prepare for this and do some internal, reflection and assessment. So I appreciate that opportunity and look forward to sharing our experience and knowledge. I think, Dana, when you talk about opportunities and finding those opportunities, it's a great place to start. I completely agree. Promotion and moving to a new job, like any change, and does induce a lot of anxiety. And we like to check all of our boxes and make sure we're, overqualified in some cases. And I think a third component to that is women always feel this need to take care of others first. Just look at the pandemic or this latest freeze in Austin. We just go into caretaker mode and look out for others first. And this is a space. Career growth is a place where you need to really put yourself first and take care of yourself first and foremost. So it's good to recognize some of the dynamics that play into this process as we talk about it. So for me personally, I think developing and utilizing your network is key to understanding what opportunities there are. I just actually, oddly enough, received an email from an old colleague back from 1994 via email and said, "Hey, I saw that you guys had some openings, and I wanted to reach out to you." So it's just utilizing that network. And WPDN, this Women's Professional Development Network, is really a great space. Organizations like WPDN is a great space to really develop that network. Talking about your challenges, talking about your aspirations, and just really getting to leverage your network. Who do you know? What do they know? And just be sure that they know about your successes and that you're interested in learning more. And if you're seeking a promotion or seeking opportunity, the first step is acknowledging that, right? Where's that accountability
Exactly.
piece and saying, "Hey, I'm ready. I've been doing this job for X amount of time. I feel I'm ready to take it to the next level." So really, you should make that known, and that can be your accountability piece, and really rely on that network. The women here on this panel, and Dana, and the folks that helped us prepare for this, we've known for a long time, and these are the folks that I can go to for questions in a pinch, and I know they'll answer my text or call first out of the gate, right? So
Right.
that is really key, is to understand your network and figure out how to utilize that. You may not know about that next job, or you may not know what it takes for a promotion, but someone in your network does. Someone in your network has experienced it.
Hmm.
And I'll close with this comment, is that COVID, I've been working from home for the last year. Um, and that the situation is not ideal. I'm an extrovert, so it's been hard. But what has provided me is we've kind of developed these pockets of networks where we'll touch base with a group. It's actually all women, and just kind of check in. And that is, we have our group chat is everything from happy birthday, congratulations, to, hey, how does this policy work for or against you? And so I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, but someone either has the answer or knows someone that can make that connection to get that answer. So really, it's about developing and utilizing your network and nurturing it too, continuing to nurture.
Right. Great. Yes, exactly. And one of the other things is you don't have to be in a company to have a network, everybody, right? You can utilize the network from your church or from your personal hobbies or activities, because they are a great resource as well, especially if they understand, hey, I'm looking for a job and this is kind of what I'm interested in. They can be a great asset. So thanks, Nicole. Marisela, how do you get a clear understanding of whether there are opportunities for growth within your organization? Marisela, you need to unmute, hun.
I always do that. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to Dress for Success and WPDN for putting on this amazing seminar. Um, so, one of the things, like Nicole mentioned, was we always feel we have to be 100% qualified. Uh, but you don't have to be. Go after that position, go after that role, even if you don't think you are, right? That is one of our biggest downfalls, is that we always feel we have to be 100% match every criteria on there, check every box. You do not have to. If you even think you're qualified, go for it, right? We've got to get over that fear that I'm going to fail. Because guess what? We are going to fail, but that's okay. We learn. And one of the biggest things for me was get to know what opportunities are out there, right? Get out there, meet people, talk to people. Like Nicole said, have that network, whether it's in, it's inside of work, it's inside your group, it's outside another group. I know I'm constantly, I, like Nicole, am a complete extrovert. So I'm always talking to people, I'm Miami people, messaging people, text messaging, calling. So this pandemic has been kind of detrimental to my mental health, but that's okay, right? I understand that. But know the opportunities that are out there. Go for them. The current position that I'm in, I contemplated back and forth whether I was going to apply for it or not
Mhm.
because I didn't think I was qualified. And I looked at it, I was like, well, if they don't hire me, they didn't hire me. I'll find out why and I'll move on. And they did, right? I went ahead and applied and said, I'm going to try. And that's what I can do is I can try. And that's the biggest thing is to try no matter what. Let's get over that fear of I have to be 100% mom, wife, partner, coworker, nurse, whatever your role is in your current life, right? We need to get over the fact that we don't have to be 100% in every single one of them. I tried to do that actually this weekend and I had bags under my eyes. My neighbors were like, you look so tired. I was like, I was up till 1 waiting for my nieces. I was up at 6 in the morning and I was like, I was just miserable. But we have to figure out that we don't have to always be that 100%. We just have to try and go out there and look for those opportunities that are existing, like I said, in your company, outside your company, LinkedIn, your personal groups on your Facebooks, on your Instagrams. Join those networks that are out there. There's a lot of networks out there that you can join in your neighborhoods. Women are always putting out their groups to talk to. Just get out there and learn those opportunities.
Great. Yes, definitely. And some of those, I mean, volunteering, right? We have
Absolutely.
grown, I mean, through WPDN and our other ERGs, we have volunteered in different capacities, and it's been fabulous, not only from an internal perspective, but again, growing those networks that you're talking about, Maristela. So
Absolutely.
one thing I want to say about this panel too, speaking of promotions, is all these three women have received promotions this past year. So that is a big shout out to you ladies. Woo, that's right. Which brings me to the next question, Maricela. So how did you determine you were ready for that promotion?
So I look at my skills, right? What am I capable of doing? And that's one of the biggest things. Look at your skills. What am I currently doing? Look at that job that you want to go for that next promotion and start doing it. You've got to do your current job and you have to start doing the next job, right? I know I said we don't always have to be 100%, but when it comes to promotions, you need to start looking above to that next role. And, this is a conversation I have with my immediate employees and my second level employees. As Dana was mentioning, I have over 55 people that report to me through two managers that report directly to me, and then everybody else is under them.
Mhm.
But when they come to me asking me, why didn't I get a promotion? My first question to them is, what are you doing above your level? Not your current job. What are you doing above your level? You need to constantly be going above, regardless of what you're doing. Because I have people that are like, oh, well, I come to work. I'm like, that's great. So do I. Right. But for me to do that promotion, you need to be showing what you are capable of in that next role. And so when I was looking at my different roles throughout my career, because I've been with Applied over 26 years, I know I only look 25, but
That's right. That's right. Own it.
um, I'm always looking to take on even more responsibility because as women, unfortunately, we are looked at that way, right? And especially in very male dominated environments, we do have to go up above what we're currently doing. So always keep a track of what you're doing, your role, the projects that you've worked on, what they have gained the company, either through cycle time improvements, efficiency gains, right? In our case, it's manufacturing, financial gains, and if you're in a different environment, what process changes you put in place to keep improving your company, keep growing your company. And in that essence, you're going to grow yourself, and you're going to, always put yourself out there and celebrate your accomplishments, right? There's nobody else that's really going to do them for you other than you. But you've got to also look for those people that are going to help you celebrate those accomplishments. But again, always be looking at what am I currently doing as my role, and what is that next role I want to take on, and start doing part of that role. And that's how you know you're ready for that promotion, because people start noticing what you're doing.
Right, right, exactly. I totally agree. I mean, and showing that initiative, right, is huge to the managers that may not realize that you're looking for that type of opportunity. So Pam, how do you determine, or how did you determine you were ready for that promotion?
Thanks, Dana, for the question. I want to say a big thank you to Dress for Success as well as Applied Materials Women's Network. I'm really excited how the company and the organization is actually investing in our community and investing in you, our attendees. So I didn't know I was ready for the promotion, which was the funny part in hindsight. It was like a 2-year journey. I actually talked to my manager and I wanted to sit down to kind of say, this is where am I not loud enough?
There you go, Pam. Yeah, bring it in, hun. There you go.
Thank you. So about 2 years ago, I sat down with my manager and we talked about the current role and responsibilities. And I actually asked the question, which is a little bit different. Never in my career had I done that before. And I said, what does it take for me to get a promotion? So I had a list of the projects I worked on, what my responsibilities were. Um, and it was because I went to a workshop and they said, ask for what you want. And I was like, okay, let me give it a try. I've never done that before. And
Hmm.
he actually, over the course of a couple of years, mapped out what those activities were. So he told me what he was looking for in the leadership area, what he was looking for employee development. And it was good because we actually had a map to work with. So my recommendations to you is to ask for what you want and be able to list that out. You'll actually get a chance to work with your manager to see that and see it grow. I think Maricela, she said it best. You might have setbacks, but you learn that lesson and then you kind of move from it. Um, Promotion is part of the journey, right? Because you're going to be learning as you're growing. You're developing new skills, you're getting a chance to build your network, and you're also getting a chance to do things that you've never done before.
Right. Right. That's great. So basically, you sat down and you worked it out with him as to what were the expectations, right, to get to that promotion. There's no guesswork then at that point. You know exactly what you need to do, and that's huge. And in fact, for everybody on the phone, and this is something that I recommend to the young engineers coming in, is to have these sit downs like Pam did. And I'm sure Nicole and Maricela, they have one-on-ones with their management on a consistent basis. I try to have a one-on-one with my manager once a month, right? And that is good because then you're in constant communication with them and you can understand, they know what you're working on, you understand their expectation. And again, you can go into that conversation about promotion and what's next for you. Thank you. Thank you, Pam and Maricela. So, Pam, going on to that conversation, right? How do you best prepare for a conversation with your boss about your career goals?
Oh, it was great because I'm one of those people, I love notebooks. So if you have a
Uh-huh.
sheet of paper, that can be your notebook. If you're very fancy and you have like your kids' notebook, or even if you go to Amazon and the idea is to get it down on paper. Um,
Hmm.
it, we're so busy with our lives and activities. You might have a hard time actually remembering all that greatness that you did 2 weeks ago or a month and a half ago. But that journal is a powerful thing because you actually can stop and take a look at how great you are. You help benefit the company, you help benefit yourself. And it's actually pretty much an artifact because you're looking at all the progression and progress that you've made over time. So, first things first, get it down because we lose the information and the details and the experience if we use just our memory.
Right, right.
Thing you want to do is actually set up an agenda with your manager. It's going to always be this network, this communication. And one of those powerful relationships is with that manager that you have. You want to set the agenda because it's your career and we're interested in you and your value and what you want. We want to make sure that you talk about your accomplishments. They talked about that a little bit earlier, your successes. It's okay if you have challenges. I've had a couple today. And the fun part about challenges is that you get better, you get stronger, and you actually get a chance to collaborate in those challenges. And as you come up with a list of all those things that you want to talk about in the agenda, then you want to set up a meeting with your manager and kind of go through that.
Mm-hmm.
In that conversation, you get a chance to practice. Well, I had an issue where my part did not come in. And now what are we going to do? Because we've made a customer commitment and the customer is expecting us to deliver. So it gives me a chance to think of ways to be able to address that problem. And so with that practice, I get ways of coming up with the solution as well as building the team. So as I'm meeting with my manager, we do it every 2 weeks. And the idea is to talk about the organization and where we're headed, but it's also to invest in myself. These are the personal things that I want to develop, and this is how it's good for the company. When I'm working on my plans, I want it to be a win-win situation. It's going to benefit the company, but it's going to also add into me. So those are the kind of things you want to think about. Well, if you're having challenges or you're really trying to figure out how that looks, let's break it up into smaller pieces. Let's look at short-term plans. One of my short-term plans is to stop being on my smartphone after a certain time.
That's a good short-term plan.
That's a fun thing. But that's not really a goal. I need it to actually be specific. I need to be able to measure it, and I need to have a time associated with what I said was I just want to be off my phone by a certain time. So maybe I need to make it more detailed. Maybe by 9 o'clock every night for the next 2 weeks, I power down my cell phone. So anytime you're coming up with short-term ideas, make sure that it's very specific, you can measure it, and you have a time associated with it. It'll help you get over the procrastination, and it'll help you build to whatever your long-term things are. My dad used to always say, invest in yourself today because it's going to help for the future you.
That's right. It's basically you do you too. Everybody, right? You need to take care of yourself because no one else is going to look after you as well as you would. You'll have those partnerships, but really, you're the one leading it. So, Nicole, how about you? How did you prepare for your conversation with your boss about your career goals?
Yeah, so like Pam said, SMART goals, having to go through that template, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound, just having that in front of mind. For me, it's very generic. The conversation, you need to be clear, you need to be prepared, and practice. I like to practice. So being clear on the goal of the conversation is really important. I meet with my manager weekly for 30 minutes. And, it could cover the gamut of addressing a work problem. This issue came up, what do we do? Or this issue came up, this is what I did. Do you have any feedback? Asking for help if we run into a roadblock or I need help from someone or somewhere. It could be an update, but really if you're setting forth an intention of career advancement, then you need to be very clear. that you want to set aside time to have that conversation. So again, be clear on the goal of the conversation. I want to set aside some time to talk about my career. Um, and letting them know in advance is going to help them. I working on a very large project. I see the light at the end of the tunnel in about 3 to 4 quarters. So I know I'm like 3 to 4.
I know for us that's long. That's long. Go ahead.
So and then I'm thinking, what's next? So I said, hey, let's have this conversation. Where do you see this role moving to? And just ask those questions. Be prepared. Practice. Be clear on your expectations, and then giving them that heads up about that you want to have this conversation is always good. And if you have, like Pam said, you want to have these goals in mind. Another practice that I've put into play a couple of times when having this conversation, which kind of ties the last 2 questions together. Where I work at Applied Materials, we have a global career framework that kind of lays out expectations for each level of the organization. So I look to that next level and say, what are the expectations in place for that next level? And then I think about the projects that I've worked on, the accomplishments that I've had. Like Pam said, you have your artifact, your notebook that's really laying this all out, and you can tie that to these expectations of that next level. And piece that together and say, okay, like Pam had mentioned, I'm ready to take things to the next level. I see that these are the requirements. This is how I feel I've met these requirements. What else is needed? Let's talk about clear action, clear planning on what we need to, or what I need to accomplish as an individual to get to that next level. And it's always important to know, for at Applied Materials anyways, it's always based on business need. If there really just isn't a business need for that position, then you just write it out or look for that position elsewhere. And that this is where, circling back to my first answer, really helps to have that network. Say, look, I'm ready to take on, if you're an individual contributor, if you want to take on a management role, if you want to be the lead on a project, whatever the case may be, whatever your goal is, make that known to others so they can help you find that through your mentors, advocates, and networks.
Yes. And very powerful, very powerful. Thank you. Thanks to both of you. So I don't think I would be wrong in saying with the groups that we're in, they're very male dominated, right? And so as women, right, we just, our gender alone, we stand out. But what are the other things that you do, Nicole and Pam, that help make you stand out as an individual? Nicole?
Okay, so I think there's a couple of, when I think about this question, how do you stand out, particularly, well, red sweater, look at that. I didn't even plan that. So I've got a couple of areas to kind of think about when we talk about standing out. One, on a personal level, this Zoom world that we live in, this virtual world that we've been thrown into, it's hard to deliver bad news, or it's hard to give people feedback, that sort of thing. But I really like to use my camera in important places. So if I'm having this conversation, if I'm presenting to a group of people I don't normally present to, if I'm having this career-oriented conversation with my boss, put your camera on and really, again, be clear, prepare, and practice. And so just those personal kind of things can make you stand out, as well as circling, being accountable, circling back, like in this case, like for this event, following up with any questions that didn't get answered, or sharing some best practices beyond that. If you're doing a presentation, or if you're working, extra shifts at work, just circling back to make sure, that folks are aware that this is happening, always giving your thanks for your time, just giving that positive persona on a personal level. And don't be afraid to take on the hard problems. A lot of times we work around the hard problems. What's my band-aid, right?
Mhm.
Be known as that person. The team that I work with now, they just won't, they just will not give up on these hard problems. And I'm like, you guys, we've had this problem for 20 years. And, I'm like, it's very difficult to solve. And they're like, yeah, we like hard problems. And I was like, they just have this reputation of solving very hard problems.
Mhm.
So don't be afraid to take those head on. And always look for the opportunities to step outside of your comfort zone, be it volunteering for an extra assignment, or volunteering to help someone. We recently, due to the freeze, had a backup in logistics.
Mhm.
And so they were taking volunteers to help. Those are the kind of opportunities that are going to make you stand out, is when you step outside of your comfort zone. And
Mhm.
yeah, your own personal work piles up, and you've got other things happening, but take that risk to step out of your zone and really find those opportunities that will give you that visibility outside of your direct group and organization.
Right. It definitely gives an opportunity to learn too, right? We got to
Oh
see
yeah.
logistics and what was happening there. And because of that, they formed a workshop to try to address some of the problems, right, that we'd seen over there. So Pam, what do you do to make yourself stand out?
So I think it's so fun that we're living in this time of technology and innovation. So you get a chance every
Pam,
day.
can you come closer, hun, please?
Yeah, I sure can. How about
Thank you.
now? It's almost like I need the headphones. How about now? One, two, one, two.
Y-
Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard I sound like I'm in a hole, so I apologize. So we're gonna
Oh,
put some dirt on the hole and we're just gonna build it up until the sound is better. So one of the things we get a chance to do during the pandemic is that we have to shift as a company, because now you have everyone at home for the most part. We have essential workers on campus, and all the support teams and infrastructure are now working at home. And
mhm,
the company was very smart, where we pivot to a brand new platform where we can collaborate, share information, communicate. And
mhm,
so, as a team, we actually made an investment to actually spend time in that new platform to understand how it works. What's the best way to collaborate? What's the best way to communicate?
mhm,
How can we maximize this new tool or feature? It's almost like having a new app you want to explore and spend time making the most of it. So, what I do to stand out is I'm okay with that new unknown, that new widget. And even if I don't know it, I'll go ask someone that does know it and teach me how to use it. And then the idea is for me to bring it back to the team. And then
mhm,
as a team, we learn that new tool. It's going to be a little scary, maybe. Some people actually like the thrill of learning something new.
mhm,
The idea is to get proficient in whatever that new skill is. The company is investing in that space for a reason. More than likely, you're going to be more efficient, you're going to be able to be more transparent, and it's really good for both the business as well as you as a person.
excellent. Correct. Correct. Great answers, Nicole and Pam. Thank you. So,
Dana, if I could add one thing to that.
yes, Maricela,
Um,
please.
so one of the other things that you could do to stand out is get certifications in certain aspects of your job. I know several of the ladies have PMP certifications. I
Mhm,
myself do not have those certifications, but I have gone through leadership programs with the City of Austin, the Chamber of Commerce. I've done leadership
mhm,
programs within my own company. I'm actually going to start an executive leadership program next week
great.
with UT.
Mhm,
So look for those opportunities that are there, right? Look for that growth. Don't be afraid, right? To go and seek out those additional certifications, as the ladies mentioned, right? We do need a way to stand out. Don't be afraid. During this freeze, I was in a meeting with where probably 98% of the participants are men. Um, right? And everybody was so concerned about how we're going to open the site. I stood out in the fact that I asked, what are we going to do for our employees? So before the next thing I knew it, I'm in a meeting with two VPs trying to organize how to get, shower setups, additional water to the company. And one of the VPs, I think, didn't realize that I'm an operations manager and not at a higher level. As
Mm-hmm.
ladies in the panel know, I like to talk. I voice my opinions, but that's okay, right? Voice your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to do that. Get that visibility out there because people will notice you. Um, One of the things as an ops manager, I am the only female ops manager in Austin, actually in the whole company. And I've been the very first Hispanic female ops manager for the entire company that we've been in existence, which is over 50 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So, my last promotion was determined by all the directors on site. Well, the only way they know me is because I'm always talking, especially when it comes to logistics. So I know a lot of those issues. Definitely speak out, right? Speak your mind, speak your opinions, but be prepared to answer those, to back up your opinions. So, okay.
Mm-hmm. Great. That's great additional feedback, Maricela. Thank you. Right. Look for those opportunities, like she said, with certifications, etc. And to your point, find your voice. That is definitely huge. I mean, I remember coming in 93, I was not nearly as vocal as I am now. And I wish I had found my voice sooner. And that is certainly something I tell the new college graduates coming into the company to come in, find your voice, get involved, because that's the best way to feel comfortable, right? And comfortable enough to where you do get that level of confidence that we were talking about earlier. So, Maricela, for instance, if you had not got that promotion, should you approach your boss or a mentor if you didn't get a promotion that you felt you had worked towards? And should you also ask from them what kept you from getting that promotion and why?
Absolutely, right? There's nothing wrong with asking why you did not get it. What do I
Mhm,
need to do to grow? A lot of times in our reviews and things that we get, right? What is your strength and what's your weakness or development? I never look at them as a weakness or as a development. I look at them as growth opportunities. Where am I going to grow? So get
mhm,
rid of that word of a weakness, get rid of that word of development need, replace it with a growth opportunity, right? So uh, that is the only way we're going to learn, right? Is if we're growing. I once told a supervisor, if they're not learning, they're not growing. Um, and the only way we're going to learn is if we're told where that growth opportunity is at. So if I didn't get the promotion, why didn't I get it? If I didn't get the job, why didn't I get it? I need
mhm,
to know what I need to work on, what I need to grow on, and just be open about it. Be open on that feedback, right? It's constructive feedback. Don't always take it as negative. I've been
mhm,
told, that I'm very direct. I'm like, okay, I am. How am I going to
mhm,
use it to my advantage? Right? And I usually do. I tell people I need this, and this, but then I turn around and say, I'm so sorry that I'm being so direct, but I need this, and this, right? Logistics, for instance, they constantly tell me, you don't know whether we should smile or cry when you're asking us for stuff because
mhm,
you're getting after us, but you're doing it with a smile and you're doing it, hey, how are you doing? Oh, thank you so much. But you just got after us. It's
mhm,
like this catch 22 with you. And always thank people, right?
mhm,
So to me, it's go ask that question And when you didn't get it, like I said, grow from it. Ask your mentor, ask your sponsor, right? Because that's one of the key things, is to get a sponsor as well. Somebody
Mhm.
that's going to be looking for those growth opportunities for you when you're not aware that they're there. So for, you know, like for me, this leadership program, my sponsor is my boss, right? He's
Mhm.
looking for opportunities for me without me realizing that they were there. So okay.
Mhm. Yeah, that's huge, definitely. Thank you, Maricela. So Nicole, questions go to you too. Give us your advice and suggestions, please.
Yeah, the way we learn is just getting feedback through others. And so if you missed an opportunity or received a bad review or didn't get a promotion, whatever the case may be, you are left off of a key project, you absolutely have to seek that feedback. You know, sadly, feedback, this cycle and process is difficult, especially difficult virtually. But it's so important. And so there's tools that you can use to give feedback that you can seek out. It's important to know, you know, sometimes it takes the emotion out when you use these templates and tools. But absolutely, reflecting on maybe some opportunities that were missed, or reflecting on a timing issue, or whatever the case may be, there's always learning there to be had. It's important, you know, we're moving forward as we're continuing this learning cycle. And although we represent a century of experience between the four of us, you know, we're all lifelong learners. We always have something to learn from every experience and opportunity, and it's really important to take the time to get that, to glean that.
Right, right. And it's true also, right? Don't take it personally, as you guys mentioned. You have to just take it's feedback. It's constructive criticism. It's, you know, and you just have to move on from there. You have to figure out what's your next step and then move on from that point. So we have a great job, you guys. Great job, panel. I want to say yay. Thank you, everybody on the phone. A special thanks to Amanda Miller, Amy Jackson, Tana Thompson, and Veta Sandoval for pulling us together. Remember, ladies, we all want fulfillment, so we encourage you to deliver your feminine true core to all the world and be confident and have faith.